Well, hello, this is Doc Mac. Today's question was, I received a phone call that asked, can the Hope Protocol help with diabetes? And that is a question I very rarely answer, and the reason being is I just should shoot myself in the head because diabetes is very, very important to me. My mom and dad, between the two of them, have 16 siblings, and almost every one of them have passed away because of diabetes. I have seen amputations. I have seen what this disease does to close loved ones. My mother and my father both had diabetes. I was diagnosed with diabetes when my son was 18 years old. He's 32 now, so 14 years ago, and I've been able to keep it under control. And so it's very, very important to me to be able to understand what diabetes is and how the Hope Protocol helps and how I'm able to keep my blood sugar under control. In fact, this morning it was normal without any medications. The first day I've ever checked my blood sugar, it was 357. I remember I was in Lake Tahoe with my father and my son. It was his 18th birthday. He couldn't do a whole lot, but he wanted to go there. We went to the Jazz Festival, and my father was smelling me. He was just going, and I was like, "What are you doing, Dad?" He goes, "You're diabetic." And I was like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, you smell like maple syrup." He had his glucometer with me. He measured it. It was 357. So, we're talking about 14 years ago. I was much, obviously 14 years younger than I am today. And so I've been able to battle this diabetes for the last 14 years. And I don't think my blood sugar has ever been back up to 357, maybe a couple times in there somewhere. But now I can keep it pretty normal. My A1C is almost normal. It seems like every year it goes down just a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. So I'm going to explain to you what it's all about. Okay. First of all, it's about hormones. And the two hormones that are involved with diabetes is insulin and glucagon. You always hear about insulin, but you very rarely hear about glucagon. Now what happens, let's say you and I just went out and we had a big bowl of pasta. That's about 1,000 calories of pure sugar. Okay, our blood sugar is going to rise. And then insulin is released from the beta cells from the pancreas. And this job is to attach to the receptor sites on our cells, open up the door, and allow the blood sugar that's in our blood to go into the cell. Now, the cell doesn't need it because it has too much to begin with of this glucose. And so it converts it into fat and it stores it as fat. Okay. Now, what true diabetes is we develop a resistance to insulin and it becomes unable to open the door. And so what ends up happening is we end up with all this blood sugar that cannot get into the cell. And the cell is literally starving, it's hungry. And so but it's like being in, it's like being in a grocery store and you're starving, but there's a glass between you and the groceries. That's exactly what happens when you develop insulin resistance. It's that the insulin isn't opening the doors. The sugar can't get into the cell and your blood sugar rises and rises and rises. And then what happens is this blood sugar glycates your whole body. It's actually called AGE. It ages you because it sugar coats, it cream brulees your cells. And this is what causes all the damage, and this is what causes you to become ill and sick. The main thing we have to do is we have to drop the insulin level. So we have to put you on a special diet that's customized for you to be able to get the insulin levels down so that its twin hormone called glucagon can be released from the alpha cells of the pancreas. Now it does the same exact thing as insulin. It attaches the same exact receptor sites, opens up the same doors, but it lets the fat out. Okay, when it does this, then the body can use this fat, and what it does is it turns it back into glucose. Now, if too much fat comes out, the liver takes a shortcut and it starts making a protein called a ketone body, and this is very, very important in our program. Now, what we have found though is menopausal women and andropausal men, okay, can't have a really hard time making ketones. And so we have to do a special diet, an anti-inflammatory diet that decreases inflammation because in reality, obesity, fat, okay, is nothing more than inflammation. And so what we have to do is develop an anti-inflammatory diet that decreases the inflammation decreases the fat that's in those cells by increasing glucagon. There's two things that increase glucagon. One is insulin bottomed out. Two is animal proteins. And so by having you on a special balanced diet that's an anti-inflammatory diet that's balanced between fats and the animal proteins and low glycemic, high fiber carbs, okay, we're able to release the fat, release the inflammation, and this also decreases the resistance you have to the insulin. There's one other thing that you have to do though. Fatty livers is what causes insulin resistance. And so you have to also work on the liver. You have to defat it. You have to detoxify it. You have to optimize the liver because it's in charge of fat burning. It's in charge of your fat burning hormones, and it's in charge of causing the beginning stages, actually even the later stages of insulin resistance. So there's three things that we have found in the HOPE protocol that will help you. One is hormones. Okay, we've got to work on decreasing insulin, okay, increasing glucagon, releasing the inflammation, the fat, okay, so there's less resistance. The second thing is that you have to get yourself on a special balanced diet, not in the beginning. Don't try to do the high-fat ketogenic diet. It will not work until you've got some of this fat going off. You've got to go into low-level ketosis before you go into high-level ketosis. So in phase 1, what we do is we take you in low-level ketosis. In phase 2, we take you in higher level of ketosis. And in phase 3, we take it even higher. Okay, so there's 3 different diets that we do for that. The last thing that we do is we work on the liver. And by working on the liver, we decrease insulin resistance and we get more insulin sensitivity. The truth of the matter, why America is obese, is because of hyperinsulinemia, okay? Too high levels of insulin. That's what we have a high carbohydrate diet, okay? We have to change that, okay? I would love to talk to you more about if you're pre-diabetic or diabetic, okay? Or if you know someone that's pre-diabetic or diabetic. I would love to talk to you about how I'm able to control my diabetes without medications. And I've been there, I've tried those, they all made me sick, okay? But I've learned how to use hormones and diet and my liver to control my blood sugar. So God bless you. Our program is, we do 3 different things. Every week in our program, I send you instructions. These instructions tell you what to do with your hormones, what to do with your food, what to do, in this case, with your liver. Also, it has a self-discipline because the secret to success is self-discipline. And so we work on the psychology of self-discipline. So you get a course that explains all 4 steps you need to take week by week by week. The second thing is I keep you accountable. Every day you need to text me. You need to give me your statistics on a daily basis. I graph them. Okay, right on the other side of this camera is my computer, and I sit there and sit here in my office, and I keep your statistics. And when I see things aren't going right, I change things. I customize it for you because everybody's different, particularly when we're talking about an anti-inflammatory diet, which is the key when you're in menopause or andropause to losing your weight. Anti-inflammatory diet. Remember that. All the other diets will not work. And you've already discovered that. I know you have. Okay. And so what I'm doing is I am customizing and keeping you accountable with these daily texts. The other thing is sometimes I need to talk to you. Sometimes that dark wolf over here starts talking to you and tells you, you got to have some potato chips, you got to have some cake, you got to have some ice cream, you got to have some wine. That's when I need to talk to you. That's when we're going to sit down and we're going to find out, why and what and how is this black wolf, this dark wolf, how's it causing you to sabotage yourself? Very important, self-discipline. Okay. Well, I'd love for you to talk to me. Right above me, I believe, is a little link for you to schedule a consultation with me. It's always free for members of this group. And so if you're battling with prediabetes or you have diabetes and it's not getting much better, talk to me. Click right up there. God bless you. Doc Mac.